Hey folks, welcome to Between Awesome and Disaster. This is your host, Will Carey. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're having a good day wherever you are. Where I am right now, I'm in the offices here at Stitcher, New York City. I'm feeling good again. Like this, we're in a vibe of continuously positive energy. And I've been on a good run of doing things I'm excited about and doing podcasts that I'm excited about. So I'm glad that you guys have been here for those with me, and that the show has been doing well. So I appreciate it very much. On the show today, comedian Usama Siddiquee. Usama's a guy that I have seen a lot from doing shows in New York City. He always really makes me laugh, and our most recent exchange was he was going to Japan, and I had sent him some recommendations of stuff I like in Japan, and he's a big anime guy as well. So I wanted to talk to him, so I reached out, and he came by the studio, and we just finished a really nice conversation and covered some really solid, like, passionate stand-up comedy ground. And Usama's a high energy dude, and he's got a very clear mind of what he wants his comedy to do and where he's going to take it. So it was really great to sit down and talk with him. So I'm going to share that with you guys in a second. If you enjoyed this show, that means the world to me that you do. I know I say this every episode, but it really does, because I still feel like I'm just a guy in New York who is trying to create things and is lucky that people see it. So I really appreciate that you listen. If you enjoy the show, please feel free to tell a friend. We are on iTunes and Stitcher, or Apple Podcasts, I guess, so you can subscribe, add us to your faves. I would really appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter at Comic Will Carey. And if you want me to come and do stand-up in your city or country, I want to do that too. So let's make it happen. And thank you guys very much for listening. And let's go to my chat with Usama Siddiquee.
Yeah, in terms of sea-based books, yeah. The sea. It's a novella, so it's an easy one to kind of consume, right?
Yeah, you can knock it out pretty quickly.
Yeah,
that's like one of those things where it's very much about like the journey, even though, because not a lot happens in that one. But
yeah, I mean, there's an old man and then there's a sea. It's like the title is the trailer for the book. It's just an old man and a sea.
Yeah.
But I remember that was like my favorite book we read in English class. I remember everything else. English is a weird thing. You can't even connect to the stuff you're reading.
Yeah.
But I remember Old Man and the Sea. I was like, no, this is the shit. Whatever this is. I'm feeling this in some way.
Yeah, I remember really liking it too. The one, compare it to like when I got to high school and had to read Pride and Prejudice, which has come up over and over again. Okay. I hated Pride and Prejudice.
Okay, that means you hate women. All right, well,
that's what I'm learning.
That's what it is.
That's what I'm.
You don't
learning.
Like girls, do you? You don't like HBO's hit show Girls? You fucking racist.
Oh, I'm gonna have to turn the volume down.
What's
on
next,
this
Will? Is Black Panther not your favorite movie? Is that what's?
Oh, I saw Black Panther opening weekend, so I'm super covered on that.
Super covered.
But I just have, and it's probably, and it's the same way I don't like soap operas. I just have a hard time giving a shit about rich people and their problems.
That's great.
Does that does that resonate with you at all? Like I feel like.
Here's things like India also has that sort of rich poor divide, right?
Right.
But most poor people love Bollywood, and Bollywood is mostly stories about rich people, about rich light skinned Indians. So I kind of grew up loving Bollywood. Uh-huh. So in a sense, I understand enjoying rich people plight, because Bollywood is such a part of my life, and that's basically rich people doing shit. But later on, I actually discovered poor people storylines, and that resonated with me more. So South Indian cinema is much more poor, working class kind of stories, and I realized like later on, it's like, oh my god, these movies are way better than the Bollywood ones.
Yeah, like grittier compared to like
grittier. Yeah.
That it's interesting you bring up Bollywood, because I was in India in March, and our guide was talking about Bollywood and why about its appeal.
Yeah,
and he said that the Indian people don't want to be reminded of their struggles.
Yeah.
They want to forget about their struggles.
Yeah.
and that's why Bollywood and fantasy is so popular.
And you'll see time and time again with where the wild things are. It's like if Where the Wild Things Are was a whole country. You know what I'm saying? It's a kid going into his psyche or his life to find out a fantasy world of it.
Yeah.
And it is changing. India is getting more about the real stories now. So there's a whole new generation of filmmakers. India is getting better as a country, so there's more time to really explore those darker sides of life. And some really, really fire Indian films are coming out that you probably haven't heard of, or really anybody in America that are like, this is like some dark shit that only an Indian director could come up with.
Right.
So,
what are some examples of those? What should I be watching?
There's a director named Anurag Kashyap. And Anurag Kashyap has been doing crazy shit since Bollywood is huge. So in the 90s, he used to do, he had this movie about a serial killer and stealing a little girl, and everyone's like, the whole character's like trying to find this girl. Here's a girl, and he goes into the kind of dark underbelly of the Mumbai Police Department, and you see the social commentary there. These corrupt ass police officers and their methods. Like you see an Indian cop torture scene in a Anurag Kashyap film, dude. Nothing in America compared. It's like some deep. The way the lighting works, the scene work, the cuts, it's like a whole different style.
It's like more visceral.
Visceral is the word.
Yeah.
Indians are visceral people. We're just fucking in the shit. We're in the spice of it all. So you'll see the dark scenes in these movies are like, this, if they untap a little more of this, I mean fucking, who's a dark director here?
Eli Roth, maybe.
Okay, yeah. Eli Roth. He's coming in. He's coming into his own.
Yeah.
It's on that level. And Anurag Kashyap is probably called the Tarantino of India a lot of times.
Oh, interesting.
Just the way he deals with this dark subject matter.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. I've become, and I don't know if you can relate to this. I've become very bored with American culture lately.
Right.
So I've been going to other countries to find stuff I like.
This is the you're an act 2 of white person. Right now.
Basically,
Sorry,
you're all good. So like the Japanese punk rock and pop punk scene has so much great stuff going on. Japanese anime, I just love so much.
Did you? I love anime as well.
Yeah.
Did you? Emergency. You fucking recommended me a lot of shit.
Yeah, I sent you basically Will Carey's How to Do Tokyo.
I almost did nothing of it because I went with a girl, and when you go with a girl, it's really Will Carey's list that nobody looks at while your girl does what she wants. You know what I'm saying?
I'm familiar with that idea.
But Japan was fucking awesome, man. I mean, I didn't immerse myself in the pop punk, but I'm a huge anime guy. So I mean, I was trying to look for like a Spike sort of, those little coin machines. There's Pokemon coin machines everywhere. There's Gundam coin machines everywhere. I was looking for a Death Note coin machine or a Full Metal Alchemist coin machine.
Sure.
I couldn't find any of those.
Oh no.
I had some DBZ ones, but so I have a Frieza and I have a little Squirtle. But I was trying to get a little toy machine for a little, what do you call those? Little ball
like a claw machine.
Claw, no, it's the ones where you just outside, it's everywhere. Where you put in a coin and you just turn it and you get a random toy in a ball.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I was trying to get some anime based ones. I just couldn't find the right ones.
Yeah. Were you in Akihabara at all? I feel like
Akihabara, I was there. That's probably my favorite part of Japan, dude.
Yeah.
Those little 5-story arcades are fucking unreal. Dude.
Oh, those are amazing. My favorite place in Tokyo is the Mandrake Complex. It's like 8 floors. It's like an 8-story building that's just one floor is vintage video games. One floor is
I was there.
Collectibles. One floor is anime. One floor is dirty anime.
Yes.
It's
very sticky
really
floor.
It was such a cool place because I'm a huge fan of this anime Sword Art Online. I just love that show.
Oh yeah,
so I got a ton of stuff.
I've seen that before. I'm not a huge guy of that. But is it still going on? It's still
still going on. It's in its 3rd season right now. They're on the mid-season break.
Okay.
And so I'm watching it in English now.
Okay.
Because I'm already watching Japanese.
I got you. Oh, can you watch in Japanese?
Yeah.
And you understand Japanese?
It has subtitles.
Yeah. In my opinion,
better.
So you're catching it.
Yeah, I'm picking up phrases here and there, like the honorifics and
Oh
baka
shit!
And
kanji life, dude. I don't even know. I just threw in a glossary term. That's fucking awesome, dude. I know arigato gozaimasu ka, and I know onegai shimasu. and I know
Ohio's good morning.
Ohio, and then konbanwa is good night,
Yep.
right? And then konnichiwa is or
Konnichiwa is hello, sayonara is goodbye, and before you eat, you say itadakimasu.
Yeah. What does that mean again? Like thanks?
It's like a general thanks, grace kind of thing.
I loved it. It was just a great experience.
Yeah.
Fucking.
So what other stuff did you do while you're out there?
Oh my god, dude! I did Shibuya, of course. I did a lot of the touristy stuff.
Oh yeah, no shame in that.
Yeah. In Japan, it's also crazy that it's like even the smallest tourist thing is like, what the fuck is this? You know. So I did the Shibuya crossing. You know, did the whole thing like wow. You know, did the whole went to Golden Guy. You know, that whole small little area. It's got like 200 pubs in this studio size. You know what I'm talking about? That kind of shit. That was crazy. Went to Piss Alley. Which is like the place in Shinjuku where it was like, you know, like just you go through an alley and it's just like packed bars and drinking everywhere. So that you're getting that like packed Japanese culture was awesome. Getting that like you think New York has no space, but like Tokyo really
Tokyo
fucks with like no space.
Absolutely. I did the first time I went to Japan. I did a show in that area. It was such a cool. It's at a British pub called the Hobgoblin. And it was such a great crowd.
Was I at that one? I went to a British pub to do comedy, but I think all the comedy is.
So you did do comedy.
I did do comedy.
Oh,
yes,
cool.
Yes.
And it was in Shinjuku. Might have been that place.
No. I went to I don't even remember where I went, dude. It was Onebara Mara Kamara something Mara. Let me actually look.
Yeah, I because the group I did a show with was the Tokyo Comedy Store. They do a bunch of shows in Tokyo and I think the surrounding area.
Let's see.
But I got a kick. Did you and while you're looking that up, I got a big kick out of seeing how Japanese people and the expats that were there would react to jokes compared to the way those jokes went over in America. Did you find any of your material landing differently than it does in the States?
I mean, of course, there's going to be a little bit of difference. What was one joke that I remember being like, wow, this does not work at all here? Most of them was fine. Most of them was fine. Just don't go too referential, you know? They know what Trump is. They know who Kendrick Lamar is. I mean, you can go into that space. Doing comedy in Bangladesh one time, that was the hard one, really.
Oh, tell me about that show.
Yeah, I did comedy with my brother. Oh, before I jump in.
Sure.
Shimokitazawa Station.
Yeah,
You know
that sounds familiar
Yes.
to me. Yeah.
It's at Good Heavens Comedy Club.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, now next time I go back, I know
Check
who
it out.
else
Check it out. Check
who
it
else
out.
to hit up.
I did comedy for my brother's wedding. I didn't want to, but my uncle-in-law, whatever, was like, "You're doing it." So I get up, and my entire family was there, and I bombed in front of everyone that I love.
Oh yeah,
literally every human being that's ever cared about me was in that room, and I bombed. But yeah, I just tried to like translate it directly, my act, and I didn't have enough Bengali knowledge to. I know Bengali, but just a 1-to-1 ratio, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then I could see my brother who's getting married. It's the happiest day of his life. He's just doing this thing, you know. With
he's doing the when will this be over?
When will his finger on the temple, trying to extract the memory and throw it away,
trying to pull it out.
Oh my god, dude! Oh god.
I feel like it's a rite of passage for a comic to bomb in front of people who you love the most.
Oh yeah, and if you don't bomb in front of your brother's happiest day of his life, if you don't bomb then have you even done comedy? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't think so. It was so bad. Oof.
Yeah,
every time I talk about that story, I really do get back into like there's a visceral reaction in my body.
Just like, well, I had that once. I did a show in Istanbul, and
here we go.
I was trying to. I had my initial plan was try to learn Turkish, and so someone translated my set into Turkish. So I'm trying to like listen to it on an iPod and get it into my brain, and it's just not happening.
Yeah.
So I go up, packed show.
Yeah,
it's completely sold out, and in a country where stand-up comedy technically isn't legal, so it's in I'm in a place called like a lounge.
Yeah.
And I just go up and I proceed to bomb the like that flop sweat kind of bomb.
I've been there
for that 6 minutes. I was lucky. Luckily I closed pretty big.
Yeah.
And then the headliner went up, and I don't know if how many different countries you've done stand-up in.
I've been in Istanbul. I've never done stand-up there.
So
love Istanbul, yeah.
What other countries have you done stand-up in other than Japan?
India. Did India, did Japan, Canada, which is so different. And then I did one more. I think that's it, actually. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, in Japan.
Interesting, because I found that, well, in Istanbul there's an intermission, so like the headliner,
I don't know what the fuck that's
the
about,
headliner
dude.
did an hour and then did
shit.
an intermission, then he did another hour.
Hate that shit. It's like, yo, it's hard enough building a momentum, you know?
Right.
Hey, this is a great time. Anyway, let's just chill and eat samosas for 3 hours. Oh, Jesus. Like, no, and then you got to bring it back up. It's like 2 different shows, but it's like, I get it. It's like to sell things.
Yeah.
You know, you want to sell items, and
Exactly.
the show comes beyond second. It's like 4th or 5th. You know, and like these guys are like, yo, you got to buy some shit, so we're gonna have an intermission. I get it. The idea of a show for a show's sake, that's not a thing.
Yeah, and I feel comedy specifically has that problem more than other forms of entertainment, like the show and the art form is like the 4th or 5th priority.
Oh yeah,
compared to the.
If you go to a movie, you're not going for the popcorn. The popcorn is a fun addition to this amazing movie.
Right.
When you want to go drink, it's like, I don't want to hear Pandora, so let me just look at this guy jump up and down and tell me about Trump or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
So it's like we're the popcorn.
Yeah,
we're the popcorn.
Yeah, we're the popcorn, and hopefully we're trying to be like the movie theater that has like the cool artisanal popcorn.
Oh yeah,
it's just like super fancy. You're like, this popcorn's so good.
I might stay a while. Oh.
Yeah. You know, maybe I'll go see that popcorn in a theater sometime.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's interesting. Once that flips, then it's like different. It's like, then you are the movie.
Yeah.
And then the opener is the popcorn or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's
exactly.
Like, so it's like that. I'm just trying to be a better popcorn. It's really the whole journey.
Exactly. I'm trying to, I want to be the, I want to be the reason people go out and not just the mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
right. But here's the thing. I don't hate on mozzarella sticks. There's also that's a fire reason to go out somewhere.
Oh,
I just want to. I mean, I'm glad to be alongside mozzarella sticks in any form.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest. I'm trying to be better than mozzarella.
Most definitely.
And a lot of comics aren't. A lot of comics are just very, content being mozzarella. And I'm just like not. I'm trying to be.
You want to be like a pepper jack.
I want to be a pepper jack, dude.
Yeah. So where are you from, man? Where did you grow up?
Where am I from, dude?
Yeah.
I was born in Canada. My dad's from Calcutta, India. My mom's from Bangladesh, Joshore, Bangladesh, Western Bangladesh, and they came to Canada, had me. Then we went to New Jersey, and then moved to Dallas. That's where I grew up. That's where I'm really from.
So that's like your formative years.
That's where I'm from. Yeah, all my stuff. I fucked for the first time there. I fingered a girl for the first. Like where you finger a girl for the first time is where you're from.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's where I fingered a girl for the first time. I'm from Dallas. Plano, it's a suburb of Dallas, but Dallas basically. And from there, I was gonna do fucking med school, the whole med school track, and then I got into med school, and then I said fuck that, and I came here 4.5 years ago to do comedy.
4.5 years ago. So you were really on that traditional track of like be a doctor.
Oh yeah.
Kind of thing. How did you like Texas?
I loved it, man. I mean, how was 9/11 there? Yeah, it was rough, but I mean, 9/11 was weird for all brown people, right? It's like not,
Oh no, I wasn't mentioning. I wasn't thinking about 9/11.
Did I just go straight to 9/11? Okay, Will. If you want 9/11, here we go. Here we go, Will. All right. 9/11 podcast. Here we go.
When you do podcasts, do you find people adjusting your fader
all the time? I'm
pretty frequently?
And honestly, I try to like go farther away from the mic, but your boy is spastic sometimes.
Yeah. There's I bet your first comedy album could just be in the red and then just a bunch of spiked audio levels.
Yes.
But no, my idea of Texas, and specifically not like Austin, but like Dallas might be a good example. There's that whole like you're not from around these parts kind of idea.
Yeah, I mean,
not even specifically about 9/11 because you're Indian.
Or Bengali.
Bengali.
Bengali is the ethnicity I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was weird. But it was never. I mean, there was 1 or 2 guys that used to whoop my ass back in elementary school, but they were doing that before 9/11. And after 9/11, it was just one of those like.
They could get away with it more.
There's a patriotic edge to the beatings. There was definitely like a little bit of more of a red, white, and blue to this thing. But yeah, it was rough in general. Just being a scrawny kid. my self-loathing didn't come from Texas or the environment or being a brown kid in Texas, blah, all that bullshit, all that political bullshit. It was just a weird-looking kid. I had a bowl cut. I had skinny. I was really diminutive. I was very shy. Those people don't really make it in elementary school. They don't really make it in middle school.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
no, I
right?
was definitely that kid.
Of course, they don't have the juice, per se.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time, oh, my God, a girl was, like, crying out of class. We were in the same math class, and she walks out crying. I'm like, what the fuck happened? And my friend was like, yeah, they played MASH. You know MASH, that game where like you find out who your husband is, right? It's like it's mansion, something A, S, and H is husband, or something like that, where they pick people from like your class and they find out who you're gonna marry, how many kids you're gonna have. And she got Usama, and she started crying, like, dude, it was, and like I'm here like, damn, man. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Damn. You know, sometimes you need to feel the fader, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to feel life is not about EQ. Life, sometimes the EQ breaks on life. All right? But I remember being like, that was that was the way girls looked at me. That was the way like dudes, I mean, it was just, we all had our kind of phase.
Yeah.
And some had it rougher than others. And it was because of that.
Right.
You know, Sama stuff would come in randomly.
Yeah. You were picked as the weak gazelle, and so you were ostracized from the herd.
Right.
Yeah.
It just kind of looked, it was easy to, and Browns weren't exactly respected in that nature yet as minorities. We were still like very much weird kind of people. I had some brown friends, but yeah, it was a little funky.
Yeah.
Well, but I had a great time.
Sorry. Hey, well, I'm glad you made the best of it. So Denton, if you're growing up in the suburbs, so that outside of the feeling kind of like, you know, I'm guessing sticking out in Texas, you also have this kind of like suburban American existence.
Oh yeah.
So is there a lot going on outside of Dallas, or not so much?
Well, I was in Plano, basically, right?
Plano,
which is like a suburban area, and it was very much, you know, schoolwork. You know, be the best school person possible. So that's where a lot of the anxiety, and it's like that's the kind of trap that you were in, because there's a lot of Asians. It was like a little. Texas doesn't have exactly the best school systems, but there's one little pocket that I was in that had like the fucking shit. It had the most AP classes in the country, and it was just a really high level performing school. And dude, like the Asians were on it. They were on it. So I'm in this kind of very high performing place in Texas. So that stress was like very much my life, you know, like that was everything. And compound it with like my weird looking kind of vibe. I was just a huge fucking gamer. My gaming was my whole life. Not just a thing I would do, it was my passion until I was like 18, 19.
Yeah? What was your speed?
I was a Nintendo fanboy, so I was playing everything. Like in modern-wise, I was a Smash guy, but I had a certain affinity for like old school retro games. Like one summer, I was like, I'm not a good enough gamer, so I beat like the hardest games of all time. Just to prove to myself that I could do it. So I was the whole summer.
Ghosts and Goblins,
Super Ghosts and Ghouls, R-Type, you know, all the Ninja Gaidens. Gradius 3, I was one of them. You're hitting all the right ones.
Oh, I love Gradius 3.
Battletoads. I would say R-Type is actually harder than Gradius 3. Have you heard of R-Type before?
I've played R-Type.
That was the game that probably took me the longest to beat after Battletoads. And what else was it? Adventures of Bayou Billy. Have you heard of that game?
No, I haven't.
That was a really hard one. The first TMNT.
The first TMNT was super
that was
difficult.
insane. That was insane. And then also some old like newer school games. I played Shinobi on PS2. I played DMC3 on the hardest setting and tried to get A on all of them, which I did not get.
Ninja Gaiden, the original Ninja
Gaiden beat that. I was pretty good at this stuff. My Twitch fibers were pretty advanced. Like I remember, I tell people now Battletoads, and they freak the fuck out. They're like, Battletoads? You fucking kidding me, dude? But it was just that was my life. I was just a huge gamer.
I don't think I had Battletoads. I don't think I ever got past the bikes.
The pink wall thing, right?
Yeah. Is there a trick to getting past that stage?
The main thing people do at the very end is that you dodge a obstacle and you wait for the next obstacle. It's not about that. You have to have it in your brain. It's a rhythm. It's a dance. It's not react and then push. It's I know the sequence that's coming right now, so I do up, down, up, down, up, down. Not react, because the game is giving you faster than you can react to it.
Right. So
it's all memorization.
It's all memorization and pattern recognition.
Pattern recognition and memorization.
Yeah.
As opposed to reflex, which it's like not my favorite. Reflex is actual skill. Memorization is a different kind of skill, but it's actually not really what excites me about gaming.
Yeah. Well, I feel like memorization, that's something that anyone could do if you put enough work into it. But
Right.
reflexes are you either have them or you don't.
Right. I mean, you can build them.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that doing stand-up comedy is kind of like playing retro games all my life has helped me like stay in stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Because like retro games, think about it, it's like the old games. They had they had to make them hard because there was no space on the cartridge, right? So if you made them harder, it would take longer to beat, and you would have a chance to make a new game before the kid wants more, right?
Right.
So that was baked into it. Also, you had these things where it's like the way to win a retro game, as hard, a platformer or a shooter or whatever it was, is memorization, slowly inching forward, like slowly memorizing more and more and more, being able to react, but also being able to react quickly.
Yeah.
You know, memorization will only get you so far. Eventually, you'd have to just like, if things go went awry, you'd have to be able to use reflexes to get back into a place where you're safe.
Yeah.
Like, you could do the same style and gradients, but if you're in the left of the screen, maybe have it a place where like you have to use reflexes now to get back to a place where you're more comfortable.
Totally.
So stand-up uses all those. Stand-up uses that all the time. The idea of memorizing a lot and being able to like understand what to do in situations. If something comes at you, be it a heckler, how to use your reflexes to go around it. Not giving up, continuing inching little bit by little bit, getting better at something smaller and smaller and smaller, increments, not all in one go. This is all very stand-up stuff.
Yeah,
right?
And just the process of trial and error,
Boom.
The ability to, and desire and willingness to fail continuously to the point of smashing the controller through the TV, and then still going and doing it again.
Oh, dude.
Oh man, that's making so much sense.
Right?
I had never thought about comparing those two things before.
It's a very interesting thing. It's almost 1-to-1. I would say the parallels, like almost everything about retro gaming is something you do in stand-up.
Yeah,
almost everything. If you beat a retro game as a kid, that means it's the same way I look at skateboarders. You know, skateboarders who they fall 1,000 times before doing a trick. So if you see a young kid who's skateboarding, the reason they're so chill all the time is because they fucking fail constantly. Yeah. So what they do is they kind of grow in themselves. The same way a retro gamer has to grow within himself, because if you don't grow in yourself, you're not going to beat the game. It's too fucking hard.
Yeah.
You have to have a mental acuity and a strength to even get past fucking Super Ghosts and Ghouls. Forget about it. That game is like unreal hard.
Oh yeah, and same with comedy, like just going through the humiliation. Of having jokes not work and and having to deal with people that don't like you and then and are vocal about it.
Oh,
and then going and doing it again. That's part of why I don't like this trend in comedy right now of like shows where or where the gimmick is the audience like has control over the comedian or is trying to like or has some sort of like edge or like battle against the comedian, because it's fucking hard enough already.
Yeah.
This doesn't need to become more painful than it. You don't have to make this more painful than it already is.
100%. There is value in being able to navigate those sort of super negative environments. There is value in that. Like, I'd say, like, you can become a better comic with that. I don't support it. I think it's bad for the art in every way, except in the sense that the shittier something is, the better you can grow from it sometimes. That's the only principle I would attach to that. Like, sometimes the worst situations. I mean, New York is the best for comedy kind of because it's the worst for comedy.
Well, starting here, everyone who starts here, I really commend, because like,
oh my God,
I don't know where you started stand-up comedy specifically,
Dallas.
but in Dallas. Okay, so we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
I started outside of Baltimore.
Okay, good.
At a booked open mic that had a paid headlining spot. So
Nice.
you'd have a real audience there, and it's a real show. There's maybe a couple of very new people that would bomb, but there's like but then there's lots of like people that have been doing it for a couple of years, or people like me that are like just starting but are getting by somehow.
Right.
And then you have a very solid headliner who's going to do half an hour. Everyone's going to leave and have a great show.
Right. That's a great model that I don't know why people haven't adopted more, honestly.
Yeah. Compared to the New York open mic model, which is the
sad, tragic.
I talk about this wall of apathy that you are confronted with. But and Brandon Ayer and I were talking about this when he did the show. Oh, he's so fucking funny.
Funny as fuck.
You know, once you do a couple years in front of that wall of indifference, just like people aggressively not caring what you're doing.
It's so apathetic, it almost has its own direction. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Apathy that's so apathetic that it almost has its own emotion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. It's like aggressively indifferent.
Right? It's insane.
Yeah. So you have that experience. Yeah, you're not going to freak out when a drunk woman yells "second show Friday night."
Yeah.
You're going to just be like, oh, no, you can't hurt me.
Stop.
Yeah.
You're looking in my direction.
Yeah.
It's already the best show of all time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why the Portland people, I call, they have a little nicer.
Yeah.
And LA people have a little nicer because just the vibe is just more polite.
Yeah.
In New York, there is world-class entertainment to the right and to the left of you. If you go on McDougal Street, you can just leave a show and have a better time within seconds.
Yeah.
Whereas in LA and every other place in the world, really, it's all spread out.
So you got to get in your car at least. You can't just.
You're emotionally investing into a place.
Yeah.
When you're doing that, you're automatically just a better crowd member.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're like, fuck this, you can literally leave and your night won't be ruined.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for me to stay here if I don't want to, which is why you just got to be better. You just got to be better intrinsically just for me to even give this a chance.
Oh yeah, especially with some of the comedy clubs like that I get into. Like there was you ever play the Baltimore Comedy Factory?
I played Baltimore before. I didn't play any of the clubs. I did I think an independent room or something like that.
Oh, okay. You probably met some of my friends from down there. So
I might know some of you.
Yeah. So but the Comedy Factory, I don't know if they still do this, but their old location, which is near the Inner Harbor, they used to do these $20 all you can drink tickets. So fuck a drink minimum. You just give them $20, then you can just get as drunk as you want.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Dude.
Now go into that environment and try to do some like nuanced social commentary.
Right.
It's not gonna work.
I mean, it's so good for them. I mean,
yeah.
You forget that like other towns you can get drunk for so cheap. Like Texas was like $1 shot Mondays or some shit. Like, you're getting just fucked the fuck up,
Oh my God. When I went to Baltimore and I bought and I got just like a regular bottle of beer for $4, I was like, oh wait, I mean, can I come back with a Camelback and just order a bunch, just pour them in?
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like shots are less expensive than beer there sometimes. It's like insane. I don't even understand what's going on out there.
I don't know I don't quite know how it works. It might be volume. I don't know. I think that's how it is in Wisconsin, is that it's booze is super cheap in Wisconsin, but it's not very strong. So you gotta drink more to get more.
Isn't a lot of beer companies in Wisconsin? So isn't a lot of local beers? That's what I've heard.
That sounds like it makes sense. Right. Okay. So you're a gamer in Texas.
Yes.
And so you're on the path to being a doctor. Is that your decision, or is that someone else's decision for you?
Well, I was a passive exceller. My brain just fired in the right way, like to do well in school. Like in school, really, for 18 years of your life, the metric of how well you are doing as a person, as a human being, is just how well you can memorize things.
Right.
That's all that matters for 18 years of your life. It's kind of crazy, really. So, like, if you have any other type of skill, it's like not lauded as much as just memorizing something on a page.
Right.
Weird shit. So I was good at that. I was good at memorizing things, and a shout out to old retro games, I guess. I don't know. My memory was always good. And so I was just good at school. And so my parents were like, "You're being a doctor." I'm like, "Oh, sure." I lived very lackadaisically. As long as I could play Super Mario Sunshine when I got home, I didn't give a fuck.
Right.
I didn't have no girls in my life. I was a Muslim kid, very repressed, didn't know about any vaginas. I thought everyone had a dick until 9th grade, But I didn't give a damn. I didn't give a damn. I was just playing games, loving my life. Very simple times back then.
Yeah.
I wake up, play some games, go to school, be giddy about coming home and playing games again. My friends would be like, "Come hang out." I'd be like, "Hang out for like an hour, come back, play games again." I mean, I was just livid. I was always in it.
You were dialed in.
I was dialed in, dude. Net zero back in the day. Dialed up, but it was like my life, and so it was just like a very cocoon, insular way to live. And once I started stand up, everything exploded. My passive way of living just died.
Now, how did starting stand-up come about?
So I became funny in maybe middle school, high school. I would write these like weird messages on Facebook and make fun of our SAT tutor or something like that. Her name was Karen Dillard, and she was like this kind of insane dude who used to whip her husband. Her husband was like this loser dude. And his name was literally Dullard, and it's like, oh my god, this is too great. But I would make little stories about her, and like, you know, people would love him. People would be like, "Oh, you're so fucking funny, dude." I remember being like, "This feels really nice." And then one day we're reading Julius Caesar, popcorn reading. You know what that is, right? Like, right. So one day someone popcorned me, and it was like the Friends, Romans, Countrymen speech that Brutus gives, right? So I just put on a random, like, really affectatious British accent, kind of went around almost like in British face, you know? It was like, Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ear, right? People loved it. People were dying. It was the first time I remember being like getting a laugh in a crowd. I was like, I like this feeling. I'd spent my whole life being like self-facing, self-loathing in a group. And so it was the first time I was like, this is fucking the shit. So I started following that impulse of, like, you know, being wild on presentations, and eventually that kind of like leaked out into my life, and people started calling me funny, and I'm like, yo, I like this. I like being called funny. We're such a nerdy school that our jokes were, I would just add like a SAT word for a normal word. That's what would crack people up in my school. So it would be like, it would be in like an anatomy class, and they're talking about how, like, you know, you kill pigs for anatomy, and I'd be like, so when the pigs perished, everyone exploded. It was the nerdiest humor. I was like, oh, you said perished instead of died. What? Like, that was how nerdy we were as a school. But that's what I followed, and I loved that shit. I loved getting laughs, and I was like, my friend in college did like an open mic, and then told me about it, and I was like, hey, I want to do this. And so he told me about Hyenas Comedy Club in Dallas.
I've heard of
Hyenas.
Hyenas.
Then I made like 5 minutes of like Bin Laden puns, and I just go driving, and I'm like crying on the road. I'm like, no one's gonna laugh at this. And I go up at like 12:30, 1 a.m.
What year was this?
This is 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're 11 years removed from from 9/11.
Still fresh though. Still
pretty fresh. Well, and also I also thought, well, having your name is probably not helpful.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like, if I was Jerry, I think I'd be over it by now. But yeah, the stuff it keeps. This is one doorman that I meet. I hate this motherfucker. He's always doing the Bin Laden joke. I'm like, dude, he's doing it like it's 2002, bro. He's like, oh, Bin Laden. It's like, dude, it's been 18 years. It's been 18 years, bro. It's a joke that never dies.
Yeah. And how did that first time up go?
Killed it. Really did.
Nice.
I mean, for the next 8-9 sets, I got 0 laughs from the moment of the second set to the end of my 9th set. I didn't get not one laugh.
Yeah.
But that first set was so good that I was just like, this is carrying me throughout the entire.
Yeah. So you're just chasing that again.
But I mean, literally after the first set, I did not get one laugh for, I think, 2 months. It was, dude, I was so bad. I was a bad comic. I was we're all bad.
Yeah. Well, And so did you like start like pouring over stand up at that time, or were you a fan of stand up before that?
I was a huge fan of stand up. Louis C.K., R.I.P., I guess, you know.
His career's on life support.
I was a huge fan of Chewed Up, Shameless. I think 2 of the best comedy specials of all time.
Oh yeah.
I think Chewed Up. You know the why joke Louis does, like the why because I didn't go in school. Why? Because I didn't study. Why? Because I was high all the time. He's telling his kid about.
Yeah. Oh, that's from his HBO half hour. I was like, because what's not can't be,
and what isn't can't not be. Why? Because I remember laughing so hard I was gonna cry, and I laughed so hard that I almost died. Like, I couldn't breathe. Not in a I almost died. I almost died.
Yeah.
Like, I literally thought I was going to die.
Breathe, like,
dude, I was on the ground. I was scared that I was going to die.
Like,
it was a moment where I was like, I'm going to die.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I didn't die, I was like, what the fuck was it? It was literally like getting baptized. I was like, I almost drowned. And I came up like, what the fuck was that?
Oh, that gut. I rarely laugh that hard anymore, but whenever I do, it's just
you've seen too much.
So free.
There is something sad about going into the muck of the stand up because when you come out, you know too much about laughter, but I'll still find moments in my life where it's like really funny shit. So I'm glad. If that ever dies, I think I'm ready to go. You know.
Gotcha. Yeah, I wonder if other career fields have this, what we're talking about right now. Like, I wonder if doctors are like, oh man, I can't just enjoy a gastric bypass anymore. Now that I know how one's done, I get bummed every time I hear someone's getting one.
I want to hear an accountant's like dream story. The first time I saw Excel, I knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just the first time I merged 2 cells. I knew it was the job for me.
Yeah, it's like, I loved addition and subtraction
Dude.
And researching like league laws.
Yeah.
And
dude.
those were the
days. First time I got a no remainder on a division problem, I came. You know what I'm saying?
And so did you know, like, right then, okay, I'm going to be a comedian?
No, not at all, man. That whole thing was a dark journey, of like self-doubt. And I mean, I had to undo the brown a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, my whole, like, life, I was, like, very much like, brown person.
Right.
So
you have expectations.
Of course. And
you're trying to meet.
I was too lackadaisical to even, go into that space where I was transgressing, because transgressing is not even part of the language in Indian culture. You just don't do it. You don't transgress.
Doesn't even happen. Well, yeah, it's so interesting you bring that up, and I don't know if this might not even be a religious thing. This might be more of a cultural thing.
Here we go.
Because I don't.
Here we go.
But I was just talking to my friend Brad Hagen, who was kicked off of his mission because he was raised Mormon.
Oh God.
And there's this whole like process. It's almost like when you get a write up at work and you have to go to all of you have to make amends. Like he had to go through his whole process because and I was just like,
jeez.
I was like, this feels like a very white people kind of process.
Yes.
I never hear about like, well, okay, well, there was a Muslim child who he transgressed, and so he had to go to a series of classes and meetings to talk about why he transgressed and make up for it.
And no more, it's like, there's a Muslim guy who transgressed, and he's no longer with us. He's gone now, all right? Muhammad is an example. Everyone go back to praying.
Right.
That's kind of what it is. It's more corporal, much more intense, and like if a woman fucks up in Islamic culture, it's fucking
Yeah.
It's not because of Islam. It's because of the culture that has come out of it.
Right.
It's dudes who can't understand a woman wanting sex, and then it explodes. And you already know, Christians, Muslims, we got the same problem with that kind of shit.
Most definitely.
Oh my God.
But so when did you decide I'm going to be a comedian? How did your parents react to that?
Oh God, here we go. This is the podcast part. This is the juicy podcast part.
Yeah, this is like my Mark Maron moment. It's just like so where did it all go wrong?
And then when are you going to say sorry to me? At what point were you going to say sorry?
Another 22 minutes.
By the way, I'm really sorry for all the things I.
Well, no, we've always been cool.
No, 100%.
Whenever we're on shows together, I'm always happy to see you. You always make me laugh.
Likewise. It's just so funny. Mike Maron always had that in the beginning, the first 100 episodes. He would always say sorry at the end of each.
Yeah.
It was like his 12-step program was this podcast. It was really like
he had to apologize for every shitty thing he ever did before he could be okay again.
Yeah, it was insane. What a weird rise. But I was doing comedy for a little bit in Dallas, and I was kind of like just keeping it on the side, secret, nothing too crazy. Really doing med school. I applied to med school. I did the MCAT. And then after the MCAT, I was like, the day after that was my first day I did comedy. I was like, okay, I did the thing for my mom. I let me just see what I actually want. So that's when I started stand-up. That was junior year of college. Did that for like 2 years, really sparsely kind of.
Mm-hmm. And this is in Texas still?
Texas. And then I deferred med school for a year. So I got into A&M, deferred med school for a year. I made some bullshit about how my mom had a broken leg and, I got to save my mom. They're like, well, you take the time you need. And so you can defer for a year if you get into med school with a valid medical issue. So I just cooked up some bullshit, and then I, that kind of let that be my year to think about things.
Sure.
So in that year, I was delivering sandwiches for Jimmy John's in Dallas and accruing money and saving up for this inevitable. In my soul, I kind of knew I was going to go to New York. I kind of had this idea, like I'm going to New York, but I knew I needed money. I had no money.
Right.
So I lied to my parents. I said I was going to doing all these like medical shits and working and all this stuff.
Sure.
But really, I was doing comedy all the time, and it was a life of deception, really.
Right.
But I remember and I was still very much in like the sort of like the fork in the road. Medicine is more major, comedy is like the side thing. And then I saw this documentary called Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Have you heard of this?
I love that documentary.
Of course, I knew you do. You got resting Jiro face. You know? Yeah, I know you love it.
I scream white guy who loves Japanese culture.
Of course, you're otaku as hell, dude.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is like if you watch that movie, you'll understand Japanese. That thing that they have where they desire to be the greatest at something, or the idea of devoting your life to a passion. And the whole thing, and again, a side note of that movie is that they never show the wife. And all these movies about passionate people, they never show the spouse, who probably would be a fun movie to see as well. Like, Jiro sucks, all right?
There's just a lot of neglected, emotionally
even the movie
people.
had restraint. Like, it's like, yo, if we asked the son one more question, he'd be like, yeah, I hate him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But they had to paint a better picture, whatever. But the movie itself was, the best thing about it was this guy was 80-something, and he is still trying to innovate and still trying to create new things and become better versions of himself. And it just hit me in the fucking gut. There's that one scene, I don't know if you know the scene or remember the scene. He's talking about how he just wants to get better at creating. And they play Max Richter's Infra 5 in the background.
Yeah, I think I do remember.
And it's that sweeping violin.
Yeah.
And the slow-mo, the sushi. Dude, I started like bawling. I started straight up bawling when I heard that. I saw this, and the sensory images were just too much. I started like, whoa, what the fuck is this? And it was this moment where it was just like, almost like this come to Muhammad moment where I was like, let's do this. Let's fucking go, because this guy is 80 and he's still growing. And to this day, I credit my decision to come to New York to that movie.
Wow.
It's weird.
That makes total sense.
That movie's insane. It's an insane. If you don't have a passion, you can just watch it and be like, "What a great movie." If you have anything you care about and you watch that movie, it will fuck you up.
Oh my god, yeah,
it will fuck you up.
Because if you have a thing that you love, that you want to be as good at as you possibly can, and you're pouring it over and over, it's comparable. You don't even have to be a chef.
Yeah,
you can be. That journey and that struggle is comparable to anything.
Yeah, 100%.
Any sort of creative endeavor. And I feel like cooking's it's a craft and it's a trade, but it's very creative.
It's very creative. Also, it's one of those things where it's like cooking is like stand-up in the sense that you can't get good at it unless you're obsessed with it.
Yeah.
In a weird way. You can get good at things if you don't pour over it, but something about the world of cooking, the world of stand-up, it's so inherently competitive and crazy that if you don't give it your all, you kind of won't do anything with it. Because the very nature of it is chaos. The very nature, the very base of the art of both stand-up and cooking is chaos. So, like, you see, that's why I love watching cooking shows and about chefs and Chef's Table and all those, it's a new one called Street Food. But
I love that. That's
amazing.
So
the first one was with not Thailand. It was a Thai person?
No, it was Thailand.
It was Bangkok, right? The Bangkok.
Bangkok, Thailand.
Bangkok.
The woman who made
with the goggles.
Yeah, with the goggles who made
the first Michelin star from a street food cart.
Yeah.
Watching that again, that's what I eat up. I eat up that shit like it's fucking food. You know, it is people with passion who don't give a damn, who aren't at the behest of the outward world. They are just these amazing bastions of growth and power and self actualization. And that shit gets me every time.
100%. Like the thing that you love so much, you will do it until you literally drop dead. Like
yes,
I think there was that
literally drop dead.
There's that guy, the guy in Osaka who
I didn't watch that episode, but talk to me about it. Yep.
Okay, so there's the guy they focus on in the Osaka, Japan episode. He's very gregarious and he's having fun with the customers. He's like trading shirts with people, and he's like, "I am a con man. I am President Trump," and and he says that his dream would be to just drop dead while he's working. And I kind of related to that.
Oh yeah.
You know, to go out while I'm doing a podcast or on stage or just doing something that it's like the happiest I've ever been.
Yeah.
So when did you get to New York?
4.5 years ago.
4.5 years ago. Okay, so that's like 2016.
More 2015, I believe.
2015. Okay.
June 6, 2015, I believe.
And
I think.
And who were you running with when you got to New York?
My boys.
Yeah, because I always I feel like I've been in this. My circle is now starting to spread out a little bit because we've all been in New York for a certain point. We're all doing our own things now. But who were you running with when you first?
My best boy still is Eagle Witt was my first guy I was really running with. You know, we were doing mics all the time, trying to kill as hard as possible and just get crazy with it. A lot of the guys I started with kind of quit too. Like Matt Anderson was amazing. He's a really good friend of mine. Still is a good friend, but like
I just saw him.
Love Matt, but he kind of stopped stand up in a way and went to more podcasting, which is his thing. But we were running in the same comedy circles. Who else? Alexander Payne.
He's a cool guy.
He's my guy. I still see him a lot. Not as much as I like to. Back in the day, we were just like boom, always just like together. But eventually, it came to a point where I wasn't seeing my friends a lot because I was going for it in such a way. I was like, I'm gonna do fucking 3 to 4 a night, no matter what. So I didn't get to niche it up after a certain point. Like I made these friends, and they're my best friends in comedy. And then we're all like, we're trying to be amazing. Yeah. So let's just go for it. So that's why I won't see Eagle for like months at a time because we're both trying to be the best comic in the world. Yeah. And so there is something to be said about that, but there's a downside to the sort of insane desire to be amazing or better.
Yeah, I gotta wonder about that because when I saw that, because to me, Eagle was the guy that I would see at the Creek all the time, and he was always very funny. I don't know him super well, and then I blink and he's at the Comedy Cellar. Right. And I'm like, how the fuck does that happen? Right. I didn't think they let anyone under 30 into the Comedy Cellar. Right.
When I got in, that blew my mind too. I was like, I didn't know, like, the people just get off recommendations, bro. Like, so
that's what I've heard. Yeah. That if enough people recommend you at the Cellar, you can.
That's all it is.
That's how you.
So
get the audition.
I mean, maybe they're trying to get new blood. It's a timing thing, but really, and again, Cellar is just one room. So your life shouldn't end at the Cellar. New York has this idea of like everything leads to the Cellar, and that's it. Cellar is the beginning of the end. This is the end of the beginning.
End of the beginning, yeah.
Now you got to get fans. Now you got to actually work on your act and figure out how to like get this to a place where people can fuck with it. Yeah, you beat New York. You beat the have to kill showcase style comedy. You beat that game. Now what? Comedy in general is not showcase 10 minutes. That's not real comedy.
Right. That's your new foundation.
Yeah.
So like you work so hard to get that foundation. Now you got to build on that foundation.
New York breeds killers, right?
Hell yeah.
New York breeds killers. That's literally just the place. Now when you learn how to kill, okay, now what? What do you do? What do you do with that knowledge? You gotta expand your other talents. How to create a thematic structure. How to create, because New York, if you have one type of energy with no no dynamics, just like straight one type of energy, you can do 10-minute sets. You can kill a 10-minute, 12-minute crowd. But once you start getting to 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you gotta have something to say. You gotta have an energy flow. It can't just be one type of register. Like you gotta know how to push and pull. And a lot of New York doesn't really teach that because you can get to the highest echelon of New York comedy with just 12 minutes.
Yeah, like New York comedy is like I almost think what's a good analogy I want to make here. Okay, so New York comedy, especially if you're trying to do like Crusher, Comedy Club, like Friday night, Saturday night late show stand-up comedy. That's like boxing, like a really intense boxing match. So you're taking a lot of hits and you're also giving a lot of hits back in a short amount of time. But then when you're going to feature on the road or you're going to headline, that's like a Greco-Roman style wrestling match, not pro wrestling, not where you're trying to put.
Yes, and you're naked up there,
right? Where you're doing those because like wrestling matches, like before like the carnival like pro wrestling style started. You would go and just watch two guys just kind of roll around for like hours.
Right. Yeah.
And then
two naked guys rolling around for hours.
And then so you have to like exactly, you got to think of like you got to keep it interesting, keep it different, and keep challenging yourself.
Ideally, I would like to merge that killer instinct with the Greco-Roman wrestling, where you're doing the sort of thing where it's like you have such control of the crowd that you're really smashing in a way that has dynamics and has a flow and understands presence and stuff like that. I'm trying to inject that into the Greco-Roman style. Yeah. That's ideally what I want. I think Chewed Up had that. I think Shameless had that. I think Kevin Hart's first two special had that. I think Cat Williams had that. I think John Mulaney's New Kid in Town had that. I think there's some specials that just have that thing where it's like they have the flow of that sort of more reserved tactical stand-up merged with the explosive sort of boxing energy.
Yeah,
and that's the kind of special I want to make. And I think that special is dying because I think people are just kind of going for ideas and styles and types now, and they're less about the technique. But I want to bring that back. That's my goal.
That's what your Netflix special is going to be.
I want a black lady to remind herself that she loves stand-up. I want an old black lady from Minnesota who makes barbecue I want to remind her that, yo, stand-up's still amazing.
Yeah.
Because she's lost it. She doesn't watch stand-up anymore.
Sure.
Yeah, like she's done. She's like, fuck, I like Bernie Mac back in the day. But all this new shit doesn't resonate at all with her. I want to get something that so fucking hits you in the gut, hits you in the fucking gonad of the soul.
Yeah.
That you relate to a brown dude from Plano, Texas.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, that's that.
You're definitely going to do that. I think so.
Thank you so much.
And that's great that you're at the Cellar. One other what I'm also curious about is you've done Montreal, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience. Tell me about like because I don't even know how you get an audition.
Sure. Of course. I'll tell you.
Take me through that.
Absolutely. So I got my manager. I got my manager off the NBC stand-up diversity thing. Mm-hmm. So I did that, and I think my manager hit me up from that. They saw me, they got my info, and like, hey, we want to sign you. We're not signing, but, we want you to work with you. Managers don't really sign anymore. But once they work with me, they got me the first audition. And this is not a big manager. This is like a small manager, kind of in LA. Uh-huh. They're cool as fuck, but like they're like not huge.
Sure.
It's not it's not like a massive agency or something like that. So, but they did give me the audition. This is last year, and then I did the audition. The first audition was at the Stand. Mm-hmm. And then just did my stuff. I went first. I felt like I didn't do that well, but I got the call back. Mm-hmm. And then once I did the call back, I was at Creek at 8. That was the only industry showcase in my life where I did it, and I was like, I fucking smashed this bitch.
Yeah,
and I got this dude. And lo and behold, like a couple of weeks later, they're like, yeah, you got JFL. And so I went. It was great. That was the first real thing I ever got. Really. JFL was.
And how did you approach that set? Were you like loose or were you nervous? How did you?
Definitely nervous. Definitely nervous. It was the biggest show. Imagine you're doing a show in a theater, like 1,000-seat theater, and every person in that room has the potential to change your life.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. It's a little surreal like that.
And so you get the festival. So you head to Montreal.
Yeah.
And it's like the new faces, and then how many shows did you do?
So the big one is the new faces, right? And that's the one everyone's excited about. Everyone comes out to that one. Ours had a really good turnout. We were the first group, I think. So like it was like people were in. They were like, ready, let's do this, let's see this. And so we did that. And that was a huge theater. I did a couple other shows. I went into the city. A lot of other people didn't do that. I just wanted to see the Montreal scene too, so I hit up some people. I was like, how do I fucking do stand-up in Montreal?
Yeah.
So I went into like some of the bar shows, and that was probably my funnest. I like that the most. Yeah, the auditorium show was like fucking the shit. But what I took away a lot was like these cool Canadian comics who were like, in the scene and stuff like that. Yeah. And they'll do this thing where they'll introduce a comic. He's an English comic, whatever, right? And he'll do English.
Yeah.
They'll go up. They'll be, all right, give it up for him. All right. Demain. Le comique, and they'll just switch into French. Quebec is a completely bilingual town.
Yeah,
so these motherfuckers don't even bat an eyelash, and they'll do English. That was amazing. Okay, d'accord. Allons. And like they got this new comic who's like this kind of Haitian French guy comes out, he smashes. He gets off. All right, mon Dieu, incroyable. And we're back. Come on, guys, give it up for your next comic. It's like, bro, it's like
just going back and forth between
English
and
French.
That's
so
awesome.
Cool. It was so cool. Then you see this Mexican guy get up. He's speaking mad French. It's like, this is crazy, bro. This is crazy. Yeah. Everyone knows French there. Everyone knows French there. Mm-hmm. So it was super cool. The shows were like very seamlessly bilingual. It's like so amazing to see, and that really stuck with me. The way the host did that, like complete whiplash, and that was amazing. They were all cool. All cool. Everyone gets English. Everyone gets French. It's a good vibe, a good energy. A lot of cool shows being run there. Independent stuff. Highly recommend reaching out to those guys and be like, "Yo, I'm here in town. Could I jump?"
Awesome. I've been to Montreal a couple of times. Not for the festival, but I just love the energy there.
Bro, it's a good vibe. The food's amazing. Vibe is good. They love being themselves.
Yeah.
So it is a prideful place as well. Like we love that we know French. We love that we know English.
Yeah.
But it's a little snooty at times. Okay, but it's a lot of love. The snoot comes with a lot of love, a lot of culture.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
That's perfect. That's awesome, dude. And then after, so the shows go well in Montreal. And then is there anything you learned? And then I know you got to get on to your next show. This will be a good way to close that. Is there anything that you learn either from your agents or like in just talking to like people who work in show business, anything that you learned like post festival as to how to like capitalize on that?
Here's the thing is like I probably capitalized less than a lot of comics, because like I didn't do a clean set at the show, which I should have done if I was gonna get a late night. A lot of people who did a clean set got a late night in that next year. So I would say if you were gonna do JFL, try to keep it clean, because I smashed, and I would say I probably had the top 2, top 3 sets in the night, and so now I'm on the radar.
Yeah.
And so when I went to LA that year, I got a lot of meetings. There's a lot of so I'm in this ether now where people know me.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to get something out of it, be a really good chance to get a late night out of it, I would do a clean material at the New Faces.
Gotcha.
That's one thing I would say.
And you're gonna make, and your goal is to, are you gonna shoot a special soon? Or are you trying to do one independently?
I'm trying to get this hour so good that it's unreal. But it's not there yet. Right now, if I do a 30-minute or an hour, I could probably make it as good, or if not better than half the stuff that's out right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident about that. But I want to get it so good that people are blown away.
Yeah.
I wanted to get it to a way that's like when you saw Aziz's first special, it was like, what? This brown guy is like pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
I want to get to that place where it's like, oh, this guy is like the funniest brown guy I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, that first special, the jokes are
super
so
tight,
so tight,
funny.
So well written, so funny. Yeah,
he got hit with that Louis germ where Louis made this comment somewhere. He's like, I do one special a year, and Aziz is like, me too, and then he went into this sort of rabbit hole of one special a year.
Yeah,
and he wasn't ready for it.
Yeah,
but if he had spent his time and just chilled out and did a one special every 3 years, something like that, he would have kept that level of quality, I think.
I agree. I think everyone definitely started thinking, oh well, if Louis does that, then we should all do that.
No.
Definitely, people are definitely thinking, don't do what Louis does now. But
that's great.
But I think that I think that's better. You want to work on something. I think it's better to release fewer things that are amazing than a bunch of stuff and maybe a third of it's amazing.
Dude,
like the metal band Slipknot.
I know Slipknot.
Which
reminds me of Nickelback. Anyway.
They've been together for 20 years. They have 6 albums. 6th album comes out this year, but they're all amazing. Like if you're into metal, you love those albums.
Do you want to have 1 Sistine Chapel or 9
Cristiano Ronaldo sculptures?
I was looking for something. Thanks.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Thanks for the alley-oop. Cristiano Ronaldo. What do you want? Yeah. I want a Sistine Chapel. Yeah, everyone loves a good Cristiano Ronaldo sculpture. It's fun. It's sexy.
Yeah.
Great. But what's the one that's gonna fucking throw people on? That's gonna hit them in that art soul.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I'm feeling the same way. I've got my one-man show that's mostly storytelling, and I want to do a comedy album. I got all the stuff that I could do it myself, but I just want to get those like 20-minute sets. I want to meet. I want to find people that are also trying to do longer sets and book stuff together and just like really knock that out.
Hit that shit, and it's like when you create it, it's like the sort of like refined ore.
Yeah,
and then you're just like that. It was coal, and I crushed it into a diamond. That's what I want.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I think you're going to do it. And I hope we get to do some more shows together.
Absolutely, man. I'm
future,
a huge fan, dude. I love the hang. You're a good guy.
You as well, man. Yeah. I appreciate you doing this. What can we plug before we get out here?
So, Mango Bay is my podcast that I just started with my friend Pranav Bihari. It is a podcast about South Asian diasporic issues. We talk about getting beat, weddings, and like all this Indian shit, fucking while lying to your parents. It is very immigrant heavy, but it's so funny and it's so universal in the sense that you'll be super compelled, and it's just a really, 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 really rambunctious, irreverent, fun ass time with my boy Pranav Bihari, and we're just super, super funny.
That sounds awesome, man. Well, if you ever need to ask a white guy question segment, hit me up because I have some you might want to talk about this, and then we'll get out. Yeah. There's a service where you can pay money to be invited to an Indian wedding.
Yeah, I know this. Yeah. My uncle invented that. Just kidding. But they have that. They have actually, that's one of the episodes we're gonna talk about pretty soon. Is that awesome. Sort of pay for wedding? But come check it out. It's follow at your Mango Bay, and then my Instagram is at Usama bin Laughin.
Awesome. Thanks, Usama. I appreciate you doing this.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Dude, good to see you.
Yeah. Sorry for the EQs.
Oh, no problem. Just. We're perfecting our cuts of sushi.
Nice callback.
That's the kind of razor-sharp focus that I find personally very inspiring. So it was really great to get to chat with Usama. So thank you very much, man, for doing the show. I appreciate you taking some time to sit down and talk with me, and I think you're going to do great things. And if you need an opener for that special, you know how to find me. Well, So, guys, that is the show for this week. If you enjoyed this, please feel free to tell a friend. We're on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. You can follow me on Twitter at ComicWillCare. If you wanted to leave a review on iTunes, I would really appreciate that. I want to also thank my friend Matthew in Santiago, Chile, who you may have seen over the past couple weeks. The artwork for the show has changed. It's no longer the twirly photo of myself. It's a very nice illustration done by my friend Matthew's Samuel Barant, who is a buddy of mine from Santiago, Chile. If you want to hire him to do some artwork for you, you can check out his website, theuglyideas.com, and I'll have a link for that on my social media. And he's a really great guy to work with, and he does amazing stuff, so definitely check him out. And thank you guys again for listening. I will see you next week between Awesome and Disaster. Take care, everybody.